You guys here. We'd like to thank SME Corp for sponsoring this venue. And my name is Carol. I am from MDEC. And why do we do this is because Callum and Karen came to see me at the MIRF MDEC punya booth back in July. And when we shared them about the grant and incentives, so Callum suggested to do this little sharing and invited both Elegant Hallmark and also SJPP to come here to share about their schemes, how do you write business proposal in order for you to get bank loans effectively. So we have the experts here today. And also Callum also will be sharing why SMEs or industry like you should be working with us, government ka, agency ka. And I am from the digital solutions and advisory unit. I was used to be in the e-commerce division, doing a lot of e-commerce campaign. I'm a book author as well, write the book for MPH. So I joined MDEC to empower SMEs to digitize themselves. So recently we launched Malaysia Digital. We'll share that later. I have my Nick. Where's Nick? There. I have Nicholas here who will share about salary and training grants, but only after the break when you have your networking, your tea break. Tea break will be here. Water cuckoo is by the, they say it's in the pantry, but it's there at the toilet. Sorry, I have to say toilet. Okay, it's at the pantry. If you have your water bottle, I hope that there's glass there. Our caterer is not here yet. They will come later before the 3 or 3:30 p.m. break. Now, before we move on, you never come to SME Corp, but anyone here has heard of MDEC? Has heard? Heard? Okay, well, no bad what? Those not heard, ayo, sad lah. Okay, it will be an interesting session, but I have told the speakers to position themselves here because we have the recording here, but they can't see those slides because why this bunting is blocking them. So Callum, I have already got the tablet here in front of me. Thank you for the suggestions by Eddie. Without further ado, we can start. Let's start. We don't want you to be dragged here. And your parking tickets, good news. SME Corp is happy to give you all a flat rate because parking here is expensive. If you stay put here for more than 4 hours, die. So the parking ticket is flat rate, I believe it's 10 or 12 ringgit, I can't remember. But you have 10, right? You have to give your parking ticket to the lady who's taking the photograph. She will group your ticket, go downstairs and take, but you can only give her during the break because I don't want any movement at the moment. You're interrupting all the session. Callum is a president of the Malaysian Consortium for Mid-Tier Companies. I never heard of this association at all, working in MDEC for 8 years. I've also told Callum, even SJPP also I never heard. Elegant Hallmark also I've never heard. Because we work in an e-commerce ecosystem, we work with the platform, the payment gateway and also logistics. Associations such as MCMTC, we've never heard before. I asked my team, you have heard before, Melvin? He's in e-commerce from JB, came all the way here to attend this today. So I said, have you heard of MCMTC? Pernah?
Ask me tomorrow.
Ask you tomorrow, yeah. Ask him tomorrow, he'll know about it today. Nice guy, right? So this is where we invited our technology service provider here. I can only fit 3 and along with SJPP to be here today to share you all that you can go to them to apply for the SME Business Digitalization Grant. Not Engine Mailer, but these 2 are our approved technology service provider that I can only fit 2 because I cannot fit too many technology service provider here. We have more than 589 of them, a lot. It's a handful to remember them, and it's a handful. One is from JB team, and the other one is from Puchong team. So this is the opportunity that we at MDEC provide to them so that they will promote digitization for the companies. Callum, I'd like to invite you again to come here to the stage. Thank you again for having all this crowd coming here today to be introduced this program. I will give a round of applause for Callum Chen, our president of our MTC, to share this sharing over to you. You have the clicker, right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? Good. Come on, you please do better now. One more time, huh? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? Good. I mean, after Carol opened, she's so lively and bubbly, and you're good. No, first of all, I always ask myself, What take-home value can we give our friends, participants like you all? If I cannot answer this question convincingly, meaning I'm not able to answer myself my own question of what take-home value, then every one of us are wasting our time here. I think all of you will agree, gentlemen, after the COVID-19, many companies, whether you're SME, whether you're mid-tier companies or even MNCs, many are cash strapped because costs have gone up, productivity is down, and while you try not to cut too many jobs, have too much, people leaving the company and all that, you might have to manage. So one of the things that came about that when by the way, mid-tier companies form only 1.7% of all companies in Malaysia. It is okay you have never heard of us before, because many people have not, because we used to be lumped together with SMEs. But this 1.7%, gentlemen, employs 16%, 1/6 of total workforce, down from 22% in 2016. 2016 it was 22, but now companies have expanded. I have a call there. I was trying to recognize it behind the ones. They expanded, but they used less people. Why? Because many companies went into automation to control your quality, control your output, increase your yield and all that. But this 1.7% in general contributes to 39.9% of the GDP in Malaysia, which is very, very huge. And it is also because of this that we are being noticed by many. When I want to ask to present to Tan Sri Aslan. Tan Sri, Dr. Sri, Professor, Dr. No Aslan, very long question. He made a comment, Callum, this is the first time I'm hearing about mid-tier companies. That was in March 2021. So since then, we have moved, we have expanded, and we have grown. And how to make it happen? If you notice, gentlemen, you'll notice the title, No Money, No Talk. What I'm showing you now is a very shortened, presentation which I give to Tan Sri as well. It was much longer, so I shortened this straight. But when I presented to him, I also made it very clear. If we do not inject fresh funds into the system, nothing will move. Chinese says, most of you have no shima. Everybody is already cash strapped. And if you do not put in the ironical thing in Germany is that the banks are flush with money. I brought in Eddie because he's a very experienced banker. How many of you have heard about chartered accountant? Please raise your hand. How many of you have heard about chartered bankers? Please raise your hand. A few bankers are. Those are bankers. So Eddie is a chartered banker. So those of you in the bank, let me give you some tips. He set questions for the banking industry. So go and bother him, get to know him, ask him to give tips if you're moving up the value chain in the banking industry. The reason because is this. Many of the banks are, let's say when the SME applies to the bank, with due respect, those managers will get those junior guys, the newbies, to do the paper. Don't expect a very experienced relationship manager to do your paperwork for you. Not because they're not important, because priority. The loan you're asking for is maybe 2 million, 3 million, 5 million kind of thing, not 30, 50 million. So they will get some young newbies to come, relationship manager to do it. And of course, with the quality of our education now, with the level, the standard of the English, and the inexperience in writing papers like that, they are not familiar on what to write. And in the end, if you are the credit officer, you read through all the papers, you don't even know what they're writing. So easy, reject. So good loan, good company. But because of that, they did not get the loan. And it's such a waste. So I told Eddie, I think for those of you who know, there are companies out there who will charge you 4 to 5% when they get the loan for you. So I told Eddie, do everybody a favor. And I make it very clear, I'm very transparent. have no share in this company, do not charge more than 2% on a success rate basis, meaning you are paying for performance. First meeting when they talk to you all, they will look at your papers. You can, you cannot, so don't waste time. But if the do get approved, then he will charge you up to 2%. And the money is up to you to negotiate. What I'm trying to do in German is to provide a holistic approach. We have a thing, of course, SJPB in Aslan, Senior General Manager SJPB, very good friend of mine. We do not know each other that well, but again, it's how long. It's how well you click, how well you know the person, how well you click. And again, because all of us are doing something to help. Same wavelength. So all this is good. I spoke to his boss, he said, Callum, they're doing a great job. I say, SJPB does not guarantee all this. Nothing will go. So these are some of the things. So again, how to make it happen? This is what I said just now. Providing a holistic approach. Then special task force, I told them, the government has an ACA, Automation Capital Allowance, where you invest 4 million, they give you 8 million tax rebate from your profit. Then the DISF, Domestic Investment Strategic Funding. I went to head today in Germany, one as the president of the Malaysian Consortium of Media Companies, the other one as the honorary president of MPMA, the Malaysian Plastics Manufacturers Association. MCMTC Consortium is 54 years old. MPMA is 55 years old. So very respected trade association. And what we are doing is that I was one of those so-called pilot project, 4 companies. And after 3 years, the other 3 companies have already given up. So I said, no, we continue. We managed to get the DISF, where you invest 1 million, they give you $500,000 back. You invest 1 million plus, in the end they give you 300,000. So I said, number one, I'm glad, because whenever you give me, it's a bonus. Even if MIDA had not given me anything, I would have invested. Okay, then, but I said, when my members invest, and I tell them 1 to 1 and you get this, it will be bad. So they came up with some stories. Then I told Tan Sri Aslan, I said, I can talk because I went through all this. It's 3 over years. And people cannot wait so long. People don't have the time to wait so long and the patience to wait so long. So I said, let's reintroduce RA, reinvestment allowance. It's a no-brainer. I also made it very clear. It is not because MIDA officers are not doing the job in Germany. No, they are not. They are doing the job. Not they are not. They are doing the job. But being the custodian of the government's money. For them to approve is so easy. As I said, Callum, just approve, sign. But they have to make sure that all these governance are followed, all the procedures are correct. And of course, all this takes time. And when the response is good, the more business you have, the more backlog you get. So I said, get back, excuse me, get all this thing back and then move. So RA was re-implemented for year of assessment 2020, 21, 22. I asked for 80%. MIDA actually asked for 100%. But MOF only gives 60%. Still not bad. Got it going. Then I say you approve this, but people don't have cash flow. So they have up to 10 million for SME, for SJPB. Under PROAS, under Ministry of Finance. So I asked them, change it to 20 million. My original proposal was 50 million. Then they cut down to 20 and include the media. And smart automation grant, where they give 1 million per company. They started with 100 million job habis. Then the 200 million, then the 250 million, all finished. So when I presented the Tunku Zafru in September 2021, and later to our PM, the other 3 is one summary in November 2021. I said, you have a restaurant, there are 20 items in the menu. 5 are the best seller. I said, focus on the 5, not on the 15. And jual habis, tambah lagi lah. I said, you give your customers what they want and not works. The smart automation grant was good. It's good. I proposed I proposed to them to increase it to 1 billion matching grant. Imagine we have 2 billion for the automation grant. How much things can be done? So of course, still waiting. Then of course the other one is HAPP loan. They grant it up to 80% of the loan. Banks wants to lend us money and all that, but I think you know, every time you go back to them, they say, what collateral do you have? I said, mana collateral lagi. If you go use the money we borrow from you, or the money, the profit we make, we use it to buy land and building. Say, Callum, you are not focusing on your business. You should use the money to grow your company, which we did. So when you want to grow and you say you give collateral, I say, mana ada collateral lagi. So you see, these are the things that which all businessmen faces. And being a businessman myself, so I know. And for information in general, most if not all, mid-tier companies were once SMEs. But these companies have gone through many crises, went through many storms, came out stronger and wiser. And of course, what does not kill you will make you stronger. So I'm very happy that the Economic Action Council presented to MOF, Ministry of Finance. Then they worked through, Dana Jamin was also there. In fact, the Dana Jamin people came to my place. The bank told me, this cannot, that cannot. And I told that manager, I said, don't focus on the problem. Don't tell me why you cannot, tell me what we must do to make it happen. So I said, why don't you bring the people from Dana Jamin to my place? So she brought the 2 executive directors. One is Jared Goh, the other I forgot his name. Okay, so they came to my place, I presented, went to my factory, came up, and Jared told that the manager, Angie, tell me how much he wants, all approved. I said, thank you. But in the end, I said, no, thank you. Because I'm charging about 3 to 4%. I said, then you plus the base lending rate is like 10%. It's like, I don't really, I said, how can it work? So I said, then I proposed to EAC, put all these funds to HAPP, very low interest, low commitment fee, SME is 0.75, mid-tier companies is 1% per annum, but you don't have to bring up your collateral and no collateral anyway. So these are the things indeed, and then things move on. Okay, and then I'm very happy because Ichaslan and his team has been very supportive. And just to let you know, for some bankers are here, okay, you will not like what I'm saying. Most of the bankers will always tell you that the loan is not approved yet because SJPP say this cannot and that cannot. Actually, it's not. I found out, I went through the same case. It was a banker who set up all these things, and then I told them, are you sure SJPP said this? Then they said, okay, you give me more time to go back. In the end, we got it through. So what I'm trying to do in general, if all of you come and join and all that, come to us, we will set a team to monitor all this loan, your application. Let's say you're a lady. We are going to give you 5 or 6 boyfriends one shot. You're a guy, we give you 6 girlfriends. You see this guy smiling already. 6 girlfriends, sure, Callum, don't talk big. After that, you don't tell me this one. What I'm saying is, if you are able to do your own paper, fine. Otherwise, Eddie will help you do the paper on a successful basis, and we will go to give the same paper to 5 or 6 banks one shot. Whoever come back first, you all pick and choose to decide on this up, then we go. That way, we ensure a much higher success rate. And we will work together with HAPP, who is going to be in the group also, to make sure that all these are done. And in the end, you see, they want to help, we want to help, and we want to borrow. So if we're able to do that, then this is where the take-home value comes in. Okay, and then just to let you know, mid-tier companies' definition is that if you're in the services sector, the turnover should be 20 million to 500 million ringgit per annum. Manufacturing is 50 million to 500 million. But we have members who are doing about 800, 900 million, but still are members. But for then, those of you who say, I'm not mid-tier yet. So this year, we changed the constitution to do hand-holding to help the SMEs. Those bigger SME, forward-thinking SME, come and join us as a member, and we reduce our membership to 1,500 for everyone, including the mid-tier. Okay, so that you all can come and join us as a member without voting rights. Until you reach that level, then you come in. So this is some of the things we're doing now to to do hand holding. And of course, for those of you who are in the business, you know, when you try to go and see so and so companies, it's very, very hard to, don't talk about seeing the CEO. Sometimes you want to meet the purchasing manager, here, you get to meet the bosses. Okay, the bosses say, okay, sure, I get your cut, get my purchasing manager, you contact her, him, or they will contact you, and you get business going. A lot of opportunities. To accelerate investment, okay, from 2024 to 2027, that's what I told Tung Zafru. Now we extended to 2025. Okay, 2025. So now, the new one I'm putting in is for him to extend from 2022 to 2027, 5 years, and to increase it to 80%. You know, qualifying capital, upskilling and reskilling of workforce, instead of working with them. And that's why we spoke to Carol the other day, and she my bid can have all these things where they pay 40% of the salary for 6 months for those who are unemployed, and you can do that. Many, so don't feel like, you know, I'm also not even aware of that. So until you told me, I text my HR manager, start going, and the best thing, gentlemen, this goes back to April last year. So I told them, we already, you know, employed quite a number of people, go through and see how many qualify. Yeah, back then. Normally they say back then cannot. You see, in this case they're so friendly, they allow you to back it up to April. So you can still claim. And the best thing is, gentlemen, you are working directly with MNEC, with the people in charge, and they will help you do all these things fast. These MNCs are multinational corporations prefer to work with mid-tier companies for one simple reason. Number one, we have all the ISO certification. Number two, all the compliance, we meet all the compliance. Number three, we have the hardware, the software. Number four, we have the talent, the skills to do all that. And of course, but when we get a job, you know, we do not work in isolation. We will then work with the SMEs when they supply the packaging, they supply, you know, the packaging, the parts, the components, and all that. So when the MNC moves, the mid-tier moves, and the SME moves. So the whole session is, you know, the whole supply chain is activated. So that's why one reason, ladies and gentlemen, why we want you all to come and join us, so that when you get to meet the bosses, then we can grow together. For your information, we are leading a team to Mongolia next month. Okay, under the MCMTC. Mongolia, not inner Mongolia, but outer Mongolia. Mongolia has 3 million people, but when you are rich there, you are very, very rich. So we are bringing to meet one group called Atanchurula. They are a very big conglomerate. They're into development, construction, into automotive, and they have a supermarket chain. And Mongolia buys everything from overseas. Almost all are from China, from India. Now that you have the borders are shut, China borders are closed. They need us to go there and do that. So all these are opportunities. And then they are having this exhibition where Russia and Belarus are also major exhibitors there. Meaning when you go there, you get to know the people, you get your contact into Russia and Belarus as well. It's all about, you know, communication, it's all about networking. And we are meeting the Chamber of Commerce, we're meeting the Deputy Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, and all that. So come and join us if you're keen. And special task for this is the recap to get the fast-track government approval, including industry forward. Okay, increased smart automation grant, this one is still waiting. Government is granting SJPP loan from 10 million to 50 million. In Czech Aslam will tell us now, under the PGGS, we can actually go up to 50 million for restructuring. But for those companies who are not restructuring but who are expanding, so maybe in Chasman we can relook at the whole thing. You see, gentlemen, this is one of the nice things, where they hear direct from the industry what are the things that needs to be done and what could be done. At the end, they have a lot of money, a grantee, a budget grantee to help us. And I told the PM and Tungu Safu, and this is where the government can inject a lot of cash into the system without taking a single cent out. And they get much money. I said you give a guarantee, let's say average, bank 20 million, Mid-tier companies, 8 million, 10 million, 20 million, no big deal. Average 15 million. 10 companies is 150. 100 mid-tier companies is 1.5 million. 200 is 3 million. Easy, but there are 15,000 over companies. And there are 37 billion budget to loan out. So it's not an issue. When you talk about that 3 billion, I spoke about velocity of transaction. I told the PM, satu tahun dia pusing 10 kali velocity of transaction. You push 10 times, it becomes 30 billion. Who's on the phone, please? You don't mind? Miss, if you're on the phone, you mind going out so that you do not disturb others. Thank you. I hope not being rude. So you see this as a thing. Then extend RA from 2024 to 2027, and then the current shortage of workers. I think all of you know, the way forward is automation. And many banks do not finance automation because automation is product-centric and company-centric, meaning my company will go into this automation to automate a bottle, drinking bottle. You know, we've already done it, we cut 80% headcount. We increased output by 2.5 times and better quality. Because now instead of using the eyes to look at the registration, we're using the kids' camera, you know, and it's registering. So these are the things. If we are able to do all that, then the banks finance it, then HKBP say they can guarantee that as well. So many things will change. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to end my presentation today. The pessimists complain about it. The optimists expect it to change. But the realists, it's just the same. What the Chinese says, 見風把頭. Don't complain. I mean, you can complain, but it is not going to change anything. So adapt and move, adapt and change. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the session, and then back to you, Carol. Yeah.
Thank you, well done. Nice.
Excuse the science.
Yeah, sorry. When he started to talk, all gone then. These slides will be shared. That is why it's so important for you to put your names to Nolida, the registered. If not, I cannot send you this. Later when we talk about grants and incentive, lagi you mail that slides, because why? You won't have that person to talk to you and to tell you what's going on. So please later during the break, just register your name to Norley so that we can send you a thank you note with the slides passed to you all in PDF. You are not supposed to use the slides for your own presentation. These slides are all protected by the companies, okay?